Very funny. Hit the intro. We are back for what's it called? Intuitive Live.
Well, conscious conversation.
Yeah, man. It's a good one. This is a good one to have. And these are like the type of conversation I like to get into. And that's why I also wanted to share this to allow people to come in. Definitely want to hear other people's opinions and perspective about this because it's a very good topic. We were talking about it yesterday, and I think it did happen yesterday. I'm losing track of days, but yeah, it seemed like it definitely happened yesterday. And for those who are here, thank you for tuning in. It's gonna be a great magical conversation. Definitely want to share mine and her perspective on it, and also we welcome other perspectives as well with this. And let's get into it. So, for those of you who might have been in a cave in the past 24 hours,
Like me.
you're in a cave with me. So, but on social media, there's a thing going on, like all the other times. But currently, right now, what is a topic being discussed is two ones that we're going to cover today just to talk about it because it hits home. Definitely hits home in many different ways. Of course, like the one obvious reason why it hits home is just look at the color of our skin. And two, just other things as well. Just stuff that Sha'carri's going through, and then the stuff that on the Olympic swim team, what they're going through as well. And it's a collective thing and just having a collective conversation. So I don't even feel like I need to like get into it like that because people know what's going on.
Not everybody,
Okay,
though.
fine. All right. For those of you under the cave, like I said before, what we're going to discuss today is two things that happened yesterday. One in which Sha'carri is currently, they say that she may not run, but she's definitely suspended for a month for testing positive for marijuana.
Dell's talking about the Olympics.
Yeah. And she's this amazing story, just a young athlete who has taken the track world by storm. And in her Olympic trials, she just came out and running and had her extravagant hair that brought attention, and people even judge her for that. People in our community and other people saying like, "Why did you do that? Like, that's not professional," and things like that. And that's another topic to talk about.
Another day.
Yeah. No, we're gonna get there.
Okay.
But she tested positive for marijuana, and I guess we should just roll it. Let's roll it because I saw this news article in which she actually got interviewed live to talk about it on the news. This is my first time watching it as well. But before it even started, I felt the need of starting where she's going live at 2:30 because what she said right there, "I am human." That is amazing. Amazing. And for me, before we really get into it, I admire her for taking accountability for what she did.
Well, let's let people create their own opinions first.
Yeah,
Sound good?
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
that.
cool.
Okay.
All right.
So let's get into it.
Here we go.
Tapped on mute.
Where?
That big blue thing.
Now, good morning, Sha'carri. I just want to ask a simple question first. How are you doing?
I'm blessed to be alive. That's about it.
This is not easy. This is a hard moment that you're in right now. And I thank you for being on. And I know you wanted to tell your story. So tell me, what happened? What led up to this positive test?
Just honestly, I want to take responsibility for my actions. I know what I did. I know what I'm supposed to do. No, I'm not. I'm allowed not to do, and I still made that decision. But not making an excuse or looking for any empathy in my case, but just however being in that position of my life, finding out something like that, something that I would say is probably one of the biggest things that have impacted me positively and negatively in my life when it comes to dealing with the relationship I have with my mother. So that definitely was a very heavy topic on me, and people don't understand what it's like to have to. Or people do. We all have our different struggles. We all have our different things we deal with. But to put on a face, to have to go in front of the world and put on a face and hide my pain. Like who? I don't know. Who are you? Or who am I to tell you how to cope when you're dealing with a pain or you're dealing with a struggle that you've never experienced before or that you've never thought you would have to deal with? Like, who am I to tell you how to cope? Who am I to tell you that you're wrong for hurting? So I think just honestly, just leading up to that, dealing with my mental health, dealing with my mental as is with leading up to the games. Every time stepping on the track, definitely expected to be a record-breaking time or something like that. So just with that, pressure in itself was also just another thing. With this actually been my first full professional career, my first full professional circuit this year due to the pandemic. So just considering all of that put together, long time, my agent, my sponsor, my sponsorship, my family, knowing we dealing with all of this stuff. So,
Sha'carri, I just want people to understand where you're coming from, and tell me if this is correct. But it was a few days before your big race and the trials, you found out that your biological mother had passed away. You found out when a reporter told you, and it was after that you had ingested some kind of marijuana. I should mention you were in Oregon. It's legal in Oregon. You didn't violate any law, but it was against the rules of your sport. And as you said, you knew that. But is that what happened? Is that how this unfolded?
Honestly, yes, that is the story. I had an interview scheduled with my agent. I knew I was having an interview. I knew going into the interview, I was just thinking it would be a normal interview, and then on the interview to hear that information come from a complete stranger was definitely triggering, was definitely nerve shocking, because it's just like, how are you to tell me that? Like, it's like, and no offense against him at all. He's just doing his job, but definitely that sent me in a state of mind, in a state of emotional panic, if anything. And still knowing that even though I'm here, I still have to go out and put on a performance for my dream, go out there and still compete to what it is. So yes, definitely triggered, and from there just blinded by emotions, blinded by sadness, blinded by just hiding hurt, honestly. For the fact that I know that I can't hide myself, so at least in some type of way I was just trying to hide my pain.
Yeah.
I want to stop it there so we can start to have a conversation about it. Like, how do you feel? Hey, Allison. How do you feel about it?
How do you feel about it? You want to have a conversation about it?
Yeah, because there's there's so much that's being added in terms of information into the conversation. Like, I kind of want to take it like piece by piece.
Okay.
So she was saying that she found out about the death of her biological mother from a reporter. Now, I'd like to comment, first of all, on how ethical or unethical that was. It's like, yeah, the motivation could be, like in the media, oh, well, we want to get, the best story. So we're going to create this situation that, that was emotionally triggering for her.
Yeah, it's the, like, especially in the media world with the paparazzi, and some celebrities talking about, but just how like they're trying to be the first one to get it. So like I was hearing a story about Britney Spears, who was like having a complete mental breakdown. And what was happening was like paparazzi was like in the bushes at her house to try to get like the best photo of her. And this is like when she was actually going through her own like mental breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came to the point in which when she was going to a car with her mother and her child, the paparazzi blocked her car in to try to just get the photo and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know the reason why the person did it. And that's like one of those things like, if you're not the person, you don't really know their intentions behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And they may have had that type of thing. Oh, I want to be the first one to get it. Like we said, for making this more juicy. Or maybe like they got this terrible news and like, wait, I want to like just let her know about this now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it happened the way it was supposed to happen. It could have happened like a different way, meaning like have a conversation with her after the interview about that, because she was actually preparing for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
And then boom, you can just imagine like you're preparing for something that's like monumental. Like she just won the Olympic trials and she's about to have an interview about the Olympics, excited and like having like, or I feel that she's probably excited. I don't even know how she I'm pretty sure she's ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of like getting something that's very rare for people to get, and then having news broken down to you of your biological parent passing away,
Mm-hmm.
that can like impact you, like shift your moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember when I got the news, I wasn't like in an interview like that going on and stuff, but still it like impacted me like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I see how it could go both ways too. You know, like, how could you tell me something like that at the beginning of the interview? And then how could you not tell me something like that when you have that information? So it's, you know, there's definitely a lot of different perspectives on it that, you know, it could have been a win-win either way or a lose-lose either way, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, it happened the way that it happened.
Yeah. And she responded like a way that I'm sure a lot of us will respond to getting some devastating news like that in a moment that you're preparing for something else. And that's how a lot of times life shows up for us, in which we're doing something and then life throws that curveball at us.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And then there's the subject of the way that you dealt with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it did pop into my mind for a second. I was like, I wonder if that's the reason, you know, like that she ingested what she ingested. If is there another way that she could have dealt with it? There's so many questions that are just running around in my head, and also at the same time, like, I feel for her.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, there's obviously other ways to deal with any situation than the way that you dealt with it, because there's always infinite ways. But what we do is we do what we feel is best for us in that moment to do. And she did what was best for her in that moment. And from that news information as well, she was in Oregon, and Oregon is legal.
Mm-hmm.
That's legal. You can do mushrooms and like all this other stuff out there. So it's like smoking a cigarette for the most part, but to be able to like smoke, and I'm a smoker, I smoke weed, and weed helps to like really be able to process things in the moment and be able to like be present, and also to be able to just, it's meditative to be with yourself, to be with the emotions, be what is arising with you, and to be able to relax and be able to calm down. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things going on with her. She got that devastating news for herself.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, wow, the person who gave birth to me is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's.
Do you think that that was a form of escapism, or it was actually meditative?
Don't know.
Right.
Each person is different. Like from, and that's the thing. Like I say all the time, like two people could be doing the same thing, but they have two different intentions of why they're doing the same thing. So like for like smoking marijuana, I smoked it before as a way of escapism, as a way of not trying to deal with the world. But like now for me, I use it as therapeutic methods. I use it as a way for connecting. I use it as a way for even just helping my body with inflammation, because it's actually really good to like get my inflammation down. I use it for those type of stuff, and my intention with it is different, but we always have an intention for why we're doing it. And that's why, like, I was like, I can't say like, okay, she was doing it because of this or doing it because of this. That's what a lot of people out there who report in media and things like that, and response videos and all this different stuff, they feel like, oh, this person did this, so this means this. No, because one, you don't know that person.
Right.
Two, you're not with that person 24 hours.
Yeah.
And like three, unless you hear the person say that, then it's not true. You might be right about it, but you can't base why other people do something for the reason why this person do it, because it's a label. You're putting a box, like a label on everything. It's like a profiling for why you're doing what you're doing. And yeah.
So also the more questions coming up in my head is like, wow, she was in the Olympic trials. I wonder how many resources she had available to her, you know, like maybe even just talking to someone beforehand, or talking to someone about that decision before she made it. Again, that's me just wondering and asking those curious questions. But then another question comes up, which is, how do you feel about the repercussions
of her being suspended? How do I feel personally about that? Well, I feel that the weed thing, it's like I'm on both sides. I'm like neutral about it, meaning like marijuana is starting to become more legal in the United States. And in the state that she was in, it's legal. And also there's just so much benefits to it. And also it didn't enhance her or anything like that to perform better. It's not like she took steroids or something like that to intentionally enhance her performance.
Can I comment on that?
Go ahead.
It could have emotionally enhanced her. You know, like some people who are experiencing like lower emotions tend to behave in a certain way, and that affects their performance. Like depression can affect a person's performance because of their emotional state. It's possible that this was an emotional enhancement if looking at it from that perspective, and also anything is possible. But it could be, and it couldn't be.
Exactly. And that goes right back. We don't know. Only she knows. But like I was saying before, like with marijuana becoming more legal and more accepted, and even who was in the NFL, I believe, either NFL or NBA. Sorry if I got it wrong. I know it's one of those ends, but one of those professional leagues, they actually don't test for it anymore, just for it like becoming so illegal. But then also the fact of just how it helps out so many athletes dealing with they're dealing with either pain or emotional stuff and things like that. It's very therapeutic when it's used in the right way. Just like with a lot of things, is used when used in a therapeutic way, it's very beneficial for people. And so with me saying that, I felt like why is she gonna like miss this, like, or going to be suspended for participating in this golden opportunity just for doing something that's actually in the process of becoming fully legal, but also in the state that she's in, it's legal where she did it at. So that's how I feel about on that side. But then also on this other side with the Olympics, they test for it. So it's like, okay, like if they're testing for something, you shouldn't probably use it. You shouldn't use it if you're about to qualify for Olympics, or you're going to Olympics or competing in the sport in which they test for these type of stuff. Then it's like, then maybe you shouldn't. And that's why I always wonder too. That's what I'm curious about. Is like, who was in her corner at that time when she got the news broken,
right?
As well, because especially during that time, like of dealing with the loss of a family member or somebody close to you, that support system is always very important at that time, because it's a very intense moment of what's going on. and a proper support system to help you around that time can be able to help prevent these type of things from happening.
Mhm.
But also just like saying like, oh wait, like you shouldn't do this because you're an Olympic trial. You shouldn't smoke the weed. Let's find something else that can work for you in this moment. Like, what do you need right now? What do you need? So that way you can find out exactly what she needs and then give her exactly what she needs in a way that's not going to get her disqualified from the Olympics. But she's not even disqualified. It just says she's suspended for a month, but she still has an opportunity potentially for still competing in it. So it's not like right in the wall. You're not going to run in 100 meters. There's an ample opportunity that she may potentially get this overturned as well. And hopefully she does, because she definitely deserves it as well. But like I said before, I respect the fact for her, she's taking accountability for it. This is what I did. I take accountability and responsibility for it, and whatever happens from this happens from it. I'm learning my lesson, but then also she's sharing her story for why she did it, which is very powerful. And I totally understand where she's coming from as well. Like, for when I dealt with the death of my father initially, I did a lot of things to emotionally like bring down my emotions. So I gave myself the permission, of course, to feel whatever I'm feeling, but then also there's moments that I did stuff to band-aid the emotions because it got too intense. Where it was like overeating, overindulging in marijuana at that time, overindulging in smoking, that stuff, overindulging in things to distract me from really processing the emotions because it got too intense for me at that time. And I felt like, oh, wait, I can't deal with this. I don't want to deal with this right now. But obviously, eventually I got to the point in which I just went fully in with it and processed the emotions. And now I'm integrating a whole different way of using stuff, even with marijuana now, which of course is legal now. And I have a medical marijuana card now too. So yeah. What are your thoughts?
It makes me think of like an analogy. It's like if a kid goes over to another kid's house and they're allowed to do stuff over there and it's totally fine. And then that kid wants to come back home and do the same things, but there are clearly rules that they shouldn't be doing those things in the house. Then what? Does that kid deserve to not get in trouble just because he's allowed to do it at the other kid's house? He or she? Or is there a different set of rules, in each moment, and that's it?
Yeah. I mean, it's also interesting because like the rules, and that's going to be a perfect segue for our next conversation that we're going to have after we finish this about the rules in which, let's finish the interview though.
Oh, okay.
With the rules of like rules that were set a while back. And my curious question is, how often do you look at the rules and take in consideration of the current climate of what's going on presently in the world to be able to make some potential audibles for things, especially like during these times? Just think about it, like not only just like the grieving of the loss of her mother and stuff. It's a freaking pandemic going on for like the past was it year or so now, and it's taking a toll on a lot of people mentally as well. So, which of course, like using marijuana or those type of stuff is a great way of like working with your mental health as well.
So does that mean that we change the laws? Because
I want to say change the laws, but also just take in consideration of the present moment with what is happening in the climate with everyone. And also like there are government officials who are making marijuana legal in their states. So it's like, oh, maybe, and I feel like maybe a potential audible, like especially like if you're in the state of Oregon where marijuana is legal, how come you can't use marijuana where it's legal? Yes, I don't know who that is, but let's do it. Thank you. I don't know. I appreciate you, Facebook user. But yeah, that's the thing. Things need to change. Things need things need to change in a collective way. Things need to change to include us collectively. And
hey Somalia.
Hey Somalia. Things need to change collectively for us to bring us together, in which we are considering each other's point of view and things like that. Like bringing a way of balance for all of us. Not in a way saying like, these are the stuff, we don't care what you think or what you believe. Nah, it's not good because this is what the way that we feel. And this is it. Like really having a diverse group that can really be able to take in the present climate of things, having these conversations with each other, and to be able to come to some type of agreement, some type of policies that is a collective for the greater good for all of us type of thing.
Got it. Something came to mind when you were saying that.
Yeah.
That was really great. Thanks. There's a saying that science doesn't make sense without considerations for consciousness. So with that being understood, and these things are proven, a scientific experiment is changed simply by it being observed. That's the power of consciousness. So that doesn't mean necessarily that that E equals MC squared, like that should change, that we should change that in different contexts, but there's an essence of that. So if we can take into consideration what the essence, of that regulation or of that rule is, and create other applications or other ways to express that essence, then I think that we could get somewhere.
Yeah. It's like the essence of the Declaration of Independence. Like the beginning of it, that was the essence.
Right.
And we still haven't integrated that. We're in the process of that. But that type of thing, like that higher, like you said, the higher essence, bringing it out. So definitely this is showing in the Olympic world that there needs to be a higher essence of things, a higher, like you said, higher essence of a policy from this way, from like a higher state of taking in the climate.
Got it. You want to finish the video?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
The Olympic officials, the U.S. track and field, the anti-doping agencies now have a decision before them. Unfortunately, you will not be able to compete in the Olympics in your race, your individual race, 100 meters. But there is a chance. It's a small chance, but there's a chance you could go to the Olympics and take part in the relay. Are you hopeful for that? Is that what you're holding out hope for at this moment?
Right now, I'm just putting all of my time and energy into dealing with what I need to deal with to heal myself. So if I'm allowed to receive that blessing, then I'm grateful for it. But if not right now, I'm really just focused on myself.
What would your message be to those who are considering that right now, who are thinking about that, and to your fans, who have fallen in love with you and were so proud of your performance and maybe crushed just as you are in that moment? What would you want to say to them?
I would like to say to my fans, to my family, to my sponsorship, to the haters too. I apologize as much as I'm disappointed. I know that when I swim on the track, I don't represent myself. I represent a community that has shown me great support, great love. And to y'all, I failed y'all. And so I apologize for the fact that I didn't know how to control my emotions or deal with my emotions during that time. And when I would just leave with my fans, or I would just leave out there is that, like I tweeted and said yesterday, I'm human. We're human. My statement, what I say in my interviews, I want to be as transparent as possible with you guys, whether it's good, whether it's bad. But when it comes to Sha'carri Richardson, it's never been a steroid. It will never be a steroid attached to the name Sha'carri Richardson. The charge and what the situation was marijuana. I'm not encouraging anybody to do it. I'm not saying, oh, don't do it or anything like that. But if you choose to do things in your personal time or things like that, you just should know or be aware of the consequences, or just know, or just find different ways to just cope or do what it is that will make you feel better. But sitting here, I just say, don't judge me, because I am human. I'm you. I just happen to run a little faster. I understand there's going to be people that still have something to say that don't necessarily understand. And I wouldn't even call them haters if they want to choose to show their character of a person, even after me saying what I've said, and putting myself out there, then that's just on you, your character, and you have to live with that. But I greatly appreciate being able to tell my side of the story. And like I said, to my fans, my family, my sponsorship, and the haters, I greatly apologize if I let you guys down, and I did. And I just want to let y'all know this will be the last time the Olympics don't cheat Sha'carri Richardson, and this will be the last time the U.S. Doesn't come home with a gold medal in 100. And I feel
Sha'carri.
lines up against me.
Sha'carri, before I let you go, I think about you and the highs and lows that you've had to deal with, and your dream came true. You dazzled everybody with your performance, but also your words, your hug for your grandma. You've been through so much, and we'll see what happens and what this decision is. But do you plan to keep running? Are you going to keep those Olympic dreams alive no matter what?
Yes, this is just one game. I'm 21. I'm very young. Unlike most, I have plenty of games left in me to compete in, and I have plenty of talent that backs me up, because everything I do comes to me naturally. No steroid, no anything. This incident was about marijuana. So after my sanction is up, I'll be back and able to compete. And every single time I step on the track, I'll be ready for whatever anti-doping agency to come and get what it is that they need, because this will never happen.
Sha'carri Richardson, this is, as I said before, not easy, not an easy moment, but you showed a lot of grace and courage to come on and answer those questions, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let's get that out of there.
Yeah. Hey. Wow. Well, two things that popped in mind. One, apologies, Sha'carri. I was saying Sha'carri before. So, yeah, Sha'carri. But then two, a little faster. Sheesh. I feel like you could smoke like 99% of the world in a race. But, wow, this remarkable. This is so young, 21, taking accountability like that.
Mm-hmm.
And going through what she's going through with her process. And also what I felt from that when she said that is complete surrender. Surrender in the moment for what already happened. And also with the surrender, and she's in this place of like, I'm going to be, right now I'm focused on my healing.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever happens from there. But then also she just pretty much said, I'm going to be smoking them asses when I come back, though, too. I'm young. I'm going to be in a couple of games. I hope that she actually does have the opportunity to run in the relays. We'll see what happens from there. But kudos to her. And definitely know with the whole grievance, like grieving a parent, losing a parent, it's like a wave up and down of emotions and stuff like that. And it's just riding the surf and seeing or allowing yourself to ride the surf and the current for what happens in each moment, because it's just a moment to moment type of thing going on. And if you ever need somebody to talk to, holler at your boy.
So how about that swim cap ban?
Yeah. So this one, we're just going to read it, and definitely whoever's listening, share your thoughts, share your opinion, share how you feel about these couple things. So here's the last thing. So is it up?
Yeah.
Okay. So this one says Olympics ban swim caps to cater to black athletes with natural hair. Let's see. So Soul Cap, a British company that makes swim caps and supports swimmers with diverse hairstyles, is speaking out after it said that the governing body. Somebody should edit that. It says say that the see that's like when you try and get it out so fast. The governing body for water sports competition did not certify its caps for the Olympics. We hope to further our work for diversity in swimming by having our swim caps certified for competition so swimmers at any level don't have to choose between the sport they love and their hair. The company wrote in a statement posted on Instagram. That's the post. Yep.
Hashtag swim for all.
I like that.
How do we achieve participation and representation in the world of competition swimmers if the governing body stops suitable swimwear being available for those who are underrepresented? Very interesting.
Yeah. So the last thing, a message from our founder. We hope to further our work for diversity in swimming by having our swim cap certified for competition so swimmers at any level don't have to choose between the sports they love and their hair. For younger swimmers, feeling included and seeing yourself in the sport at a young age is crucial. FINA's recent dismissal could discourage many young athletes from pursuing the sport as they progress through local, county, and national competitive swimming. We feel that there's always room for improvement, but there's only so much grassroots and small brands can do. We need the top to be receptive to positive change. A huge thanks to all who have participated, who have supported us in our work so far. We don't see this as a setback, but a chance to open up a dialogue to make a bigger difference. Yes. Dialogue. That's exactly what needs to be said from that. And we already were talking about it before, about just the essence, having a conversation about new policies and really integrating these new things. I saw this one thing, and I don't know if it is true or not because it's on social media, but they said, but in there it said elite athletes don't wear caps that big to swim. So that's what their response to it. So then my response to it is from the present moment, that girl who's wearing that cap is an elite athlete. So doesn't that dispel your theory that elite athletes don't wear caps like that when she is wearing a cap like that for her hair?
Yeah. And like, didn't we just go through this? Like for body image, like models don't wear bigger than a size 0. You know, we just got finished doing that in a different industry. You're so right, Dell.
Yeah. And this reminds me of, it was a wrestling match. I think it was in New Jersey. A guy with dreadlocks had his dreads or whatever. And the judge of that event told him that he had to cut his dreads off to compete in the finals.
Wow.
And he shaved his hair off to compete into it.
Wow.
So this is another thing of which it's like the neutral thing. I respect the policies, but also there needs to be a present conversation because these kids, I call them kids. I'm 36, so they're kids still. They're young, but like they're these like amazing rare opportunities for them to actually be on like a world stage to do what they do for the world to see, and also the chance to get something that a lot of people don't have, a gold medal or even an Olympic medal. And just because of like these things, they're not allowed to. But I don't think she's not allowed to compete, but she's just not allowed to wear the cap. That type of cap. So it's like, it's interesting. It's very interesting. And I said, I'm not going to go there and throw the race card out there type of thing like that. But
I don't think it has to do with race, because what if there was a person who was of a different race, but they just have really long hair and need to have a bigger cap?
That's why I'm not throwing it out there. But this is also just an opportunity to just there needs to be some new conversations to really integrate the current climate of the world in multiple ways. And these right here is just showing what needs to be done as well. So that way it can actually be a fair competition for everybody.
Right.
Like open field, but also people could be comfortable in whatever they need to have besides like performance enhancement drugs and shit like that. But like equipment wise and things like that, and also legal ways of dealing with their emotional stress and stuff like that, and still be able to compete on the stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wonder how often they review the rules.
I don't even know. That's actually a pretty good question to take a look at and see just how often they review the rules, which, because we're live and I have a phone and I can just look on it. How often does the Olympic board reviews rules? Let's see.
Be interesting to know.
Yeah. Can't find it.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know is a good answer.
I don't know. It would make sense if they do it before every Olympics, but I don't know. We really don't know.
True.
That's actually a good question. That's a good question. Whoever finds the answer, leave a comment somewhere about that.
Yes,
please. Definitely would like to know. Or even if you do know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And with that,
we are complete. And thank you for everyone who's listening. This was a great conversation, a great one just to get out there, but also just like bringing to awareness that there needs to be some more deeper conversations and more dialogues.
Yeah.
So that way we can come together. Because if the goal is for us to really start to come together and be able to accept each other for who we are, and also just to be able to just have a co-creation in things, conversations like this needs to be said or needs to be done, or I don't think it sounds right, needs to
be had.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I'm like, yeah, that sounded so weird for me. Yeah. So seem like the ball is in the Olympic Committee's court now, and we'll see what happens.
Stay magical, everybody.